What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday. So it's been a while, I know, since we've been on. Schedules are a little bit crazy. It's summer. I've had some family in town. Shake's had some family. So I thought I'd just jump on here real quick, give you guys a really quick tip. Probably won't be a super long stream today, but I did want to show you guys something that is helpful that I've found really beneficial, and hopefully maybe you would too in your church. But utilizing backgrounds and not just just one background, but how you could use multiple backgrounds in your song to help push energy and drive stuff in your room. So I really just want to show you guys this today. Kind of talk you through one song. I was going to use "Glorious Day" by Passion as an example. Kind of talk you through how you could use a couple backgrounds from one of our worship packs and see kind of how this like how I flow songs and how I kind of use that to put together what I want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. You can download this pack on Church Visuals. It's our Urban Street pack. So you can see that here. I have got all the media loaded up into my song already. You'll notice that I have a playlist here with some of these songs. So I've already got that set up and I've got my song pretty much lined up the way that I want. So a couple things here you'll notice. I haven't formatted any of the text yet, so that's not been done yet. And then I haven't formatted the backgrounds into here. So really trying to give you guys a good view of how I go about doing this and kind of what my flow is. So hopefully this is helpful for you guys. So what I do like, what really the point of this is just to show you that I like to use multiple backgrounds to create energy in what I'm doing. And so if you work with your lighting team, if you pick stuff that obviously color matches what's happening, this can be really cool. So Glorious Day starts off. I was buried beneath my shame. Who could carry that kind of weight? It was my tomb till I met you. And so, it's kind of building there to something. And so, what I'm going to do is look through here, and I'm going to kind of lean into this background here, and this background here um, as my starting point. And I want to show you guys, like, just because this background here, I'm going to actually do some manipulation because I don't personally want the awesome text scrolling on this one. So I'm going to show you guys kind of how I use that and how I'm going to get out of that. So I'm going to start off with kind of this kind of look here. One thing to keep in mind is that I brought these in as foreground, so I'm going to have to change them to a background so that they will sit in back of my text. I'm going to come into here and loop them. You can do this wholesale in your library. I'm just going to kind of show you real quick how to do that. And then I'm going to slow the play rate down a little bit down to 70, 75 and see how that kind of plays for me. And then I'm going to add a little bit of a blur onto it so that I don't see it as crisp as it is. Okay. So I'm going to start off the song like that. What I like to do with my backgrounds is I like to fade into them, transition into them. That way it's not just a cut. So I'm going to add a 3-second fade into the song with that, which would be great. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to style this font to be the way that I like. And so one thing that I've really enjoyed recently is I've enjoyed Pragmatica Bold. That font has been I really like it. Sorry, Pragmatica Black. And I really like how it looks. It's a big font. It's sans serif. It doesn't have weird, serif lines in it. It's really, really good. And so I'm going to to help us out here, I'm going to place this text in my theme so that I can see how this kind of looks and kind of get this set up the way that I want. So I'm going to all caps it because I personally like that look. I'm going to, so let's see, black or bold. I'm probably going to do actually bold here. Um, I don't know. I might go with black. And then I'm going to look at the spacing of the characters. I'm going to space them a smidge more. And then line height, I'm going to bring that down a little bit. And then I like to add a shadow and a stroke. And what I like to do is change the background color so I can see what it looks like. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to stroke it a little bit. It's just going to pop the text out in front. And then I'm going to look at the shadow of where I've got that, how I've got that offset. And I'm going to kind of play around with these settings. So the offset is how far off it is. The blur is obviously the blur. And you can kind of play around with what settings you like. And really, my goal is to just try to make the text really stand out in front. Is my goal. I mean, that's why I'm doing this. So it's not really for any other reason but that. And I'm going to take this opacity up to like 90% probably. You'll notice here some of these are starting to. I'm going to add a little more space between the characters so that I can kind of shade it the way I want. And I'm kind of trying to make that pop out in front look, so that the text almost looks like it's popping out of the the background, which that is doing nicely. And I'll come down a little bit. I'll come down a little bit here. Yeah, and yeah, and then I'll turn my background off so that it doesn't make any of my slides white. I'll come over here. I'm going to click on the slide. I'm going to theme all of these lyrics to that look. And now, as I'm doing this, that's set up like this. I'm going to set these to cut, which they will be automatic. They are in my system automatically, but you might check yours. So I was buried beneath my shame. Who could carry that kind of weight? It was my tune till I met you. I was breathing, but not alive. So then at the chorus, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna shift the song into a different look, and so I'm gonna use this background here. I'm gonna come over here, and here's how I'm gonna to manipulate this. So I would actually just like to use this part and match the first background, and so this is where I'm gonna crop in onto this background, and I'm going to crop out this text at the bottom, and I'm going to loop this. And now I'm going to make this a background. You'll notice that as you crop, if you don't crop perfectly, you'll see that there's stuff on the side. So I need to extend this out in order to be a true 16 by 9 fill on that. You'll also notice there's a little bit of a white bar up here. I can change all of that. I can manipulate and make sure that this is perfect, which is what we want. So I can go over here and I'm going to slow this down again because it's a little fast for me. I'm going to add a blur to the item and blur this up a little bit so that it's just a little more, it's just, I'm just seeing that. So it was my tune. I'm going to add a transition into this. So I'm going to fade, uh, and it kind of goes, it was my tune till I met you. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave. Let's see what a 6-second fade looks like. So, it was my tune till I met you. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness to your glorious day. So, then I will, now it's going to go into like the verse three. So I will probably actually, you could choose to like, go into another like look. Um, I will probably stay because I'm going to keep the chorus So I'm gonna kind of stay in this look as I come back into it. And then when I get to the bridge, which one thing we'll notice here is that this text is kind of off. And so I'm going to come back to my template. I'm going to look at this. I'm going to um, shrink up this text so that it's not quite as big because I don't think we need that. And I'm going to re-theme the whole thing so that I make sure everything is set up the way that I want. And this last slide that's kind of really jumbled up here is because it's got too much on it. So then this will be perfect. So I'm going to change at the I needed rescue. My sin was heavy, but change break at the weight of your glory. I'm going to come into this background again. I'm going to inspect it. I'm going to crop the same way that I did. Crop it where, where I had it. And I'm going to loop it. And I'm going to slow it. And I'm going to blur it. But here's what I'm also going to do. I'm going to play around with a color adjustment. And so I want to try to go more amber in nature. And so I'm going to play around a little bit with where that sweet spot is that I want. I kind of think that maybe saturated a little bit, and that's potentially maybe where I'll land it. And I'll dissolve into this. I'm going to do a little slower. This is going into the bridge, so I'm going to do an 8-second fade into this, and I'm going to bring this as a background. And so now this is your story, this is my story, and then it goes into I needed rescue, my sin was heavy, but chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter, I was an orphan. You call me a citizen of heaven. And then I'm gonna look here and see if I can add any color in this one. I don't, when you have a black and white image, it's hard to add color into it. So I'm going to go to see if I can add hue. No, not really. So I could potentially go with like a color filter and go orange, but even that's not working well. So I'm gonna probably, to be honest, shift and do this. I'm gonna take this background here for my last section. I'm gonna crop in to it. I'm going to loop it. I'm going to slow it. I'm going to blur, and I'm going to adjust the color. And I want to go. To be honest, I might actually keep in the same vein here and just push that a little bit. Yeah, we might just end that way. I might actually keep in the same amber look, just because you can then, pop your lights, match that, and create a little bit of that. Let's see. So that's what we'll kind of end with. It's a background. So what we'll do is we'll be coming out of the chorus into the bridge and then back into the chorus. And dissolve that. Yep. And then so now you'll see that I've gone through a couple of transitions. So starting off with one look, and this is where you'll work with your lighting team. Make sure that you're not doing something that's competing in the room. You want that to complement. But at the church I'm at right now, we don't have lighting changes happening, and so it's totally this kind of helps me create some energy. Um, without lighting, and so I can do some of these shifts and in the build of the song to kind of just add some change to the look on screen, and it really is super helpful for that. So, depending on how big your screen is, you may not need the lyrics this big. So maybe your screen is a really huge LED wall. Maybe you don't need to have it this big. So, you could play around with what size and what sizing works for you. So there's that. So you could go with a smaller look like this. Another thing I've also done is something like this could be really cool. You could come up on this size here, essentially, kind of go like this maybe. And then so just follow me here. I'm gonna do so you could go with a look like this that I just created. Um, different look, and you could have something like this going. So you can play around with how does this look? Maybe that's because of how some of those bridges are in that section. You might take this down significantly more. You might play with making it more opaque so it's not as in direct competition. Well, hey guys, we seem to have run into a technical difficulty, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. I did cover everything that I needed to today, but yeah, use backgrounds, use multiple backgrounds to help build energy in songs. Um, I'll figure out what's going on with OBS here, and we'll be back next week, Shake and I, to work on this together with you. So let us know in the comments or on Facebook what you might like us to cover next, how we can today we covered how to use backgrounds effectively, how to manipulate those, how to change those in your worship environment. So feel free to let me know what you guys would like us to cover next, and I'm really excited to help and serve you in any way that I can. If there's anything you have a question about, please feel free to let us know. You can also send your questions to ProPresenter at churchvisuals.com, and feel free to send any questions you have. If you ever wanted to get on a conference call, we can schedule a call, 15-minute, 20-minute call to help you out with a problem that you're having. So I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing great. Have a great Thursday. Good rest of your week. And we're praying for you as you serve in your church this weekend.